Very good evening to all of you. I am Abhilasha Shishodia, working as an assistant professor in Calcutta's University School of Law. Today we'll discuss the topic power and liabilities of Karta in joint Hindu family. The subtopics which I will cover in this topic is who can be considered as Karta, what are the characteristics of Karta, powers of Karta, liabilities of Karta, responsibilities of Karta, and from where I have taken these references. The learning objectives of my topic will be to learn about the concept of Karta, to identify the powers of Karta, to identify the liabilities of Karta in a Hindu joint family, to learn the responsibilities of Karta towards the members of Hindu joint family. Now, starting with introductory part, Hindu law holds various unique features with reference to family institutions, and the joint family system is a very important aspect in understanding the functionality of this mechanism. The joint family has numerous members with each individual owing their different property rights. In Hindu undivided family, the Karta holds a very unique position. This sui generis nature of Karta is with reference to the varied powers he holds while discharging his functions as the decision maker in various respects of the family functionality. Karta is the senior most male member of the family who acts as the representative of entire family and acts on behalf of the members of family. No one can be compared with Karta among others members of the joint family. He stands in a fiduciary relationship between Karta and other family members, because every family needs a head member who can look after the welfare of minor members and females in a joint Hindu family. Now, who can be a Karta? The joint Hindu family is a patriarchal body and the head of the family is called as Karta. Karta is the senior most male member of the family who acts as the representative of the family and acts on behalf of the family. The senior most male member is entitled to become a Karta, and it is his right. Karta is always from the members of the family. No outsiders or stranger can become a Karta. If the senior most male member of the family is alive, then he will continue as Karta, and if he dies, then the second senior most male member of the family will take the charge of Karta. Karta takes his position by consent and agreement of all the Kupasnas. Now, we will discuss about the characteristics of Karta. Karta's position is a unique position. His position is independent and no one can be compared with him among the family members. He had unlimited powers, but even if he acts on behalf of other members, he can't be treated as a partner or agent. He controls all the affairs of the family and has wide powers. He is responsible to no one. The only exception to this rule is in case of fraud, misappropriation, or conversion, he is responsible. He is not bound to invest, save, or economize. He has the power to use the resources as he likes, unless he is not responsible for the above mentioned charges. He is not bound to divide the income generated from the joint property among the family members. He can discriminate one with the another. Powers of Karta. First power is powers of management. Karta's power of management is absolute power. No one can question the duties of Karta, like he can manage or mismanage the property, family, business, any way he likes. Karta cannot deny the maintenance or occupation of property to any member. Karta is not liable for the positive failures. Means here it doesn't mean that he can misutilize the property in any way he likes. This means he can mismanage, but with respect to the only not with his personal use he can mismanage the property. For his personal expenses he cannot use that property, like for example for starting his own business he cannot misutilize the joint family property. Now, rights to income or remuneration and expenditure. The income of the joint Hindu family property in a whole must be given to the Karta. Then it is the responsibility of Karta to allot the funds to the members for fulfillment of their needs. Karta controls the expenditure of the funds. Next right is right to represent joint family. The Karta represents the family in legal, religious and social matters. The acts and decisions of the Karta are binding on the members. Karta can enter into any transaction on behalf of the family. Next is right to compromise. Karta has the power to compromise the disputes relating to management or family property. He can compromise family debts, pending suits, and other transactions. The compromises made by Karta can be challenged in court by heirs only on the ground of malafide. Next is power to refer a dispute to arbitration. Karta can refer the disputes excuse me, relating to the management family property to the arbitration. If the award or arbitration is valid, then it will be binding on the members of the joint family. Power to contract debts. The Karta exercises an implied authority to contract debts. Such acts are bound to be followed by the members of the family. Next is power to enter into any contract. The Karta can enter into contract and where contracts are enforceable against the family. The contracts are binding on the members of joint family. Power of alienation. So with respect to power of alienation, no one among the family members can alienate joint family property. But Karta has the power to alienate the property under three circumstances, that is legal necessity, benefit of state and indispensable duties. Legal necessity. This term legal necessity has not expressly defined in any judgment. It includes all those things which are deemed necessary for the members of joint family. Like there's one case here, Dev Kishan versus Ram Kishan of 2002. In this case, the plaintiff filed a suit against the defendant. Both plaintiff and defendant are members of joint Hindu family. Second defendant is the Karta and who is under the influence of first defendant, who sold and mortgaged the property for an illegal and immoral purpose, which is for the marriage of minor daughters Vimla and Pushpa. The defendant contended that he took the loan for the legal necessity. The court held that the debt was used for the unlawful purpose. Since it contravened the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929, therefore it can be called as lawful alienation. Benefit of state. Benefit of state means anything which is done for the benefit of joint family property. Karta as a manager can do all those things which are helpful for family advancement. Indispensable duties. These terms refer to the performance of those acts which are religious, pious, or charitable. Examples of indispensable duties are marriage, Grah Pravesh, these all. A Karta can alienate the portion of the property for charitable purpose. In this case, the power of Karta is limited, that is, he can alienate only a small portion of the family property, whether it is movable or immovable property. Now, loan on promissory note. When Karta takes any loan for any family purpose or executes a promissory note, and then all the members and other members who are not the party to the note will be sued if it is not paid. So Karta is personally liable on the note. Now liabilities of Karta. Liability to maintain. Karta is to maintain all the members of joint family. If he does not maintain any member, then he can be sued for the maintenance and he can also be asked for compensation. Now, liability of render accounts. As far as the family remains joint, Karta is not supposed to keep accounts of the family, but when partition takes place at that time, he will be liable to account for family property. If any of the heir is not satisfied with his accounts, then he can constitute a suit against Karta to bring the truth and to know any misappropriation is done by Karta or not. Liability of recovery of debts due to the family. Here the Karta is having this liability to realize the debts which are due to the family members. Liability to spend reasonably. He has the liability to spend the joint family funds only for the family purposes. Now, liability not to eliminate compulsory property. It is the liability of the Karta not to alienate the compulsory property without any legal necessity or benefit of the state. Liability not to start new business. It is also the liability of Karta not to start a new business without the consent of the other co-partners. Now, regarding responsibilities of Karta, first one is maintenance. Every member of the family, including Karta, has the right to maintenance. The responsibility of Karta is to maintain all the members of the family. If he does not maintain any member properly, then he can be sued for both maintenance and dues of maintenance. Regarding marriage, the Karta is responsible for the unmarried members, especially the daughters. The expenses for the marriage will be taken out of the joint family property. Representation. Karta acts as a representative on behalf of the family. He must pay all the dues and on behalf of the family during any agreement or dealings. So these are the references which I have taken for this lecture notes. Thank you.